A Persian cat was dumped at a firehouse. For 3 months, they called her useless. They called her the mistake. She was 72 hours away from a shelter. And then, at 2:47 a.m. on a January night, she did something that saved a baby's life, and nobody saw it coming. A Persian cat was dumped at a firehouse. They called her useless. They called her a mistake. For 3 months, she was invisible, just another problem nobody wanted to solve. But what firefighter Alex Carter did on a freezing Tuesday night, and what happened 11 months later at 2:47 a.m., will change everything you think you know about the word unwanted. Station 14 didn't ask for a cat. Nobody did. She arrived on a gray October morning inside a cardboard box, a gift from a retiring firefighter who thought, and nobody quite understood why, that a Persian cat would make a good firehouse mascot. The guys at Station 14 opened the box, they looked inside, and for a long moment, nobody said a word. She stared back at them with the flattest, most unimpressed face any of them had ever seen on a living creature. Cream-colored fur exploding in every direction, a squashed nose that looked permanently offended, eyes that said, without ambiguity, "I did not agree to this." Captain Briggs scratched his head. What are we supposed to do with that? Nobody had an answer. Her name, according to the note in the box, was Duchess. The guys at Station 14 immediately started calling her other things: the mop, the cloud, later, less kindly, the mistake. They kept her for one reason only. The station had a mouse problem. 3 sightings in the kitchen in 2 weeks. Captain Briggs figured a cat was cheaper than an exterminator. Duchess had other plans. In her entire first month at Station 14, she caught exactly 0 mice, not one. She did, however, occupy the best chair in the rec room for 23 days straight, steal Marcus Webb's tuna sandwich on 4 separate occasions, and knock Captain Briggs' coffee mug off his desk so many times it stopped being an accident somewhere around day 9. The mice, meanwhile, continued to thrive. "She's completely useless," Marcus said one afternoon, watching Duchess sit 3 feet from an actual mouse and do absolutely nothing. She didn't even look at it. She looked at Marcus instead, slowly, deliberately, and then looked away. By December, the mood toward Duchess had curdled. She wasn't a mascot, she wasn't a mouser. She was a 9-pound Persian cat who ate expensive food, shed on every surface, and regarded every human in the building with the quiet disdain of someone who had expected far better accommodations. Captain Briggs started talking about the shelter. Marcus agreed. Even Tommy Chen, who had initially defended her, had run out of arguments. Duchess, for her part, seemed to be aware of all of this, and she seemed entirely unbothered. That's when Alex Carter stepped in. Alex was 31 years old, had been at Station 14 for 4 years, and was, by his own admission, not a cat person. He was a large, quiet man who fixed engines on his days off and called his mother every Sunday. He had never owned a pet, he'd never wanted to own a pet, but on a Tuesday night in late December, he found Duchess alone in the equipment room, not sleeping, not grooming, just sitting in the dark, completely still, in a way that made something in his chest feel strange. He stood there for a long moment. "Nobody's going to keep you, are they?" he said. It wasn't a question. Duchess looked at him. Just looked. That flat, unreadable Persian face giving him absolutely nothing. Alex went home that night and called his wife. Megan Carter was 3 weeks postpartum. She had a newborn daughter named Lily, approximately 4 hours of sleep per night, and the very reasonable opinion that adding a cat to the situation was the worst idea her husband had ever had, and he had once tried to fix their dishwasher with a butter knife. "Absolutely not," he said. "She'll be put in a shelter by Friday." "Alex, her name is Duchess." A long silence. "I hate you. Bring her home." Duchess arrived at the Carter house on a Wednesday evening. She walked out of the carrier, surveyed the living room with the expression of a hotel inspector finding serious violations, and disappeared behind the couch for 11 hours. Megan, running on no sleep with a newborn on her chest, did not have the energy to care. For the first 2 weeks, Duchess and Megan existed in a state of cold mutual tolerance. Duchess ate, Duchess slept on things she wasn't supposed to sleep on, Duchess knocked exactly 1 item off exactly 1 shelf per day as if filling a quota. And then there was Lily. Lily Carter was tiny and loud and smelled like baby shampoo and had absolutely no concept of personal space, which it turned out was the one quality that could breach the walls of Duchess's carefully constructed indifference. I see you still haven't subscribed. Honestly, that breaks my heart. Hit that button right now because what happens next you need to see. The first time Lily reached out and grabbed a fistful of Duchess's fur, everyone in the room held their breath. Alex froze. Meghan moved toward them. Duchess went completely still. She looked down at the tiny hand buried in her fur. She looked at Lily's face, that squinting, gummy, utterly delighted baby face. And then Duchess did something nobody at Station 14 had ever seen her do. She stayed. She didn't move, she didn't hiss, she didn't deploy the patented look of contempt she had been using for humans for months. She simply stayed. And after a moment, she lowered her head and pressed her nose gently, so gently, against Lily's cheek. Something shifted that day, something nobody could explain. From that moment on, Duchess treated the entire Carter household as divided into two categories. Category 1, humans who were tolerated. Category 2, Lily, who was something else entirely. Meghan was tolerated, Alex was tolerated, slightly more warmly since he had, after all, extracted her from a difficult situation, but still tolerated. Lily was sacred. Wherever Lily went, Duchess followed. 3V'd back, always watching. When Lily cried at night, Duchess was already at the bedroom door before Alex or Meghan had fully woken up. Lily stopped sleeping without her, not in the same crib, just close, always close. Then came January 14th, 2:47 a.m. The house was quiet. And then Duchess made a sound nobody had ever heard from her, low, insistent, mechanical, coming from Lily's room. Not a meow, something else, something wrong. Alex was down the hallway in seconds. Lily's blanket had bunched around her face, tiny hands pushing against the fabric, breathing shallow and fast. He cleared it, scooped her up. She gasped, cried, loud, furious, perfect. Duchess sat in the center of the room, tail curled around her paws, watching. She said nothing. She didn't need to. The cat nobody wanted. 3 days from a shelter. That cat has not left Lily Carter's side in 11 months. Meghan, who once said absolutely not at midnight, now calls Duchess the best decision her husband ever made. Alex lets it have it. And Lily, almost a year old, grabbing Duchess's tail every chance she gets, laughs every time that flat, ancient, unimpressed face turns around. Just like the first time, in a firehouse where nobody wanted her. She always stayed. Some stories don't start with love. Some start with a cardboard box, and one person who decided useless wasn't the whole story. Is what Duchess did that night instinct or something more? Tell me in the comments.